Hello, good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. I'm Debbie from Debbie's World. I feel like I haven't done one of these recipes for a while, but I'm going to do a recipe from the Slimming World website, and it is the pasta pie. Now I feel like, looking at these ingredients, that it's a bit of a store cupboard staple. So I'm hoping that some or all of you may already have some of these ingredients in your cupboard ready to be used. So the pasta pie, it says load your lunchbox with this dish. Vegetarian if you use the right cheese, and freezable. Takes 55 minutes to cook, serves 4 at 5 cents per serving, or you can use the cheese in the recipe as your healthy extra A choice. So the ingredients that you will need are 6 tablespoons of bottled roasted red peppers, drained and finely chopped. I've got these grilled mixed peppers. 4 eggs beaten. 2 garlic cloves peeled and crushed, while I've got lazy garlic. 200 grams of fat-free natural fromage frais. There we go, I managed to get hold of that. Now this is a 500 gram pot, and I do have plans for the rest of the pot. If you want to hang on till the end of the video, I'll show you how I plan to use my remaining fromage frais. 125 grams reduced fat vegetarian cheddar cheese grated, and that's what makes the recipe vegetarian. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this reduced fat 30% lighter mature cheese from Morrison's. I'm going to grate some of that and use that, so each portion will be my healthy extra A. So I'll let you know exactly how much I'm going to use as we go along. Then 8 spring onions, finely sliced. 250 grams of cooked macaroni. I haven't got macaroni, so I'm going to use this fusilli. Salt and freshly ground pepper. And I'm also going to add some mustard powder to bring out the cheese flavour, and some Italian herbs. So the first thing we need to do is get our pasta cooking. So I'll be back when I've done that. Right, so my pasta's boiling. I've chopped my pepper and spring onion, and now we're going to make the rest of the recipe. So I've got my eggs, and I'm going to crack 4 eggs into a bowl and beat them. Swapped bowls because, as usual, I've gone for too small a bowl, I've decided, so I've gone for a bigger bowl. I've got my 4 eggs in there beaten. I'm going to add some salt, some pepper. I'm going to grind some of my Italian herbs in. I'll add more of them in a minute. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of mustard. This is additional to what the recipe says, but I do like a bit of mustard in this type of recipe, completely up to you. Then I'm going to add my chopped peppers, roasted red peppers and spring onion. Excuse me. And then here I've got about 200 grams of that 30% lighter reduced fat cheese. Now I've just checked on the app, and you can have 40 grams of that cheese as your healthy extra A. So I've got less than that here for 6, if I'm going to get 6 portions out of it. But I thought that was more than enough cheese, so it's completely up to you how much you add. But I'll get 6 portions out of this, and I will count each portion as a healthy extra A choice. So I'm going to give that a mix. Now I need to add my fromage frais. So I've added 200 grams of fromage frais into my mix, and then I'm going to add in my cooked pasta. Don't forget, if you have macaroni, it probably might work a little bit better to use macaroni, but we have to use what we've got, and I'm going to give that a really good mix. Still slightly warm, although it has been in the colander draining for a little while I've prepared the rest of the sauce. Got my oven preheating to 160 degrees, and that is 160 fan or gas mark 4. So that's kind of what it looks like. So we shall see how this turns out. This is my first time making this dish, if you're wondering. So I've got a feeling that this will make more than what it says. What the recipe says is place in a medium-sized non-stick cake tin. So I've got 2 of these little 20-inch, I think they are, cake tins. Now all Andrew has is loose bottom, which isn't a great idea for a recipe like this because obviously there's a bit of liquid in it. So I've just lined them with a bit of baking parchment. I've got a feeling I'm going to get 2 out of this, but we'll see. So I shall portion this out and come back to you. And don't forget your garlic, like me. So I'm just going to quickly throw in 2 teaspoons of garlic before I serve it out, before I portion it out. Don't forget, like me. Right, so as I suspected, I have got 2 full cake tins with my pasta pie. And I'm now going to throw these in the preheated oven. It says for 35 to 40 minutes or until the eggs have set and the top is golden brown. So I'm now going to get out the ingredients for the other thing I'm going to make while these are cooking. Right, I'm still here. The pasta pie is still cooking, but as promised I'm going to use up the rest of my fromage frais, or some of it, to make a version of Eton mess. Now this is a recipe on the website to serve 4, but I'm going to scale it down slightly just to have enough for me. So to serve 4, it's 400 grams of strawberries, 350 grams no added sugar fat-free strawberry yoghurt. I just have fat-free Greek style yoghurt, 400 grams of fat-free natural fromage frais, level tablespoon of sweetener, and 4 meringue nests. Where's my little meringues gone? I've got some mini meringues anyway, and it says the sins on the recipe is 4 sins per serving, but actually mine will be less because my tub of meringue nests, which I can't see where I've put at the minute, says 20 pieces of meringue is 53 calories, which I'm going to count as 2.5 sins, and I'll be using a sin-free yoghurt rather than strawberry yoghurt. So I've got my fromage frais, my natural yoghurt, my strawberries, my meringue. I'm going to get my sweetener out, and I think I've got some strawberry flavouring somewhere which I'll have a look for, so I'll come back in a minute. So this recipe is another one that's slightly on the fly. I'm just doing it as I come across it, and I hope that this gives you a bit more confidence in your own cooking and how you can just pick something up and use what tools you have and what you have in. Maybe plan a week or so ahead with your shopping, but just use what you have. And for example, I didn't read this recipe before I planned it, and it says that I need to chop half the strawberries, place in a blender and puree until smooth. Well, I do have a blender, but for this amount of strawberries I'm not messing about, so I've got my hand blender out. And I've got about 4 strawberries in there, and I'm going to puree them. So it's not exactly pureed to a smooth paste, but it's there. If you want to get the blender out, you're of course welcome to do that. And I've got my fat-free Greek style yoghurt. This is in place. I'm using this instead of a fat-free strawberry yoghurt. Excuse me. And I'm going to add about 100 grams, maybe 150, 125 grams, that will do. Lick up what's spilt, and I'm going to add a couple of drops of this strawberry flavouring. And give that a good mix. I think this was from Lakeland. So now I've got my fromage frais. There's probably about 300 grams there. I may not use it all for this recipe, but I am going to sweeten it all anyway, and then we can use it elsewhere as another pudding perhaps, or just with strawberries on its own. I'm just going to add a bit of sweetener, and I'm also going to add some caramel cream cheesecake skinny syrup. I'm going to put a couple of squirts in because it's also to sweeten that as well. Give that a good mix. So I've got my bowl here and I'm going to start constructing. I've added my chopped strawberries. I'm going to add in the strawberry yoghurt, my own that I've made with the blended strawberries and fat-free Greek style yoghurt. Give it a taste. Tastes nice. Mix that up, and then I'm going to add some of my fromage frais, and it says mix it to give a swirled effect. Well, yeah. Give it another taste. Nice. And then I'm going to topple over my 20 mini meringues for 2.5 sins. And there is my version of a Eton mess for 2.5 sins. Right, I'll be back when the pasta pie is cooked. So here we go then. Here's my pasta pies. They've been in the oven for 40 minutes. And you can see they are ready to come out. They're all set. So I'm going to cut these up now and figure out how much I'm going to serve. And just while I remember, I found my mini meringue pieces, and these are what I got from Morrison's. And you can see there it says 20 pieces provide 53 calories. So that's those if you want to get hold of those rather than the big meringues. Right, let's get this served up. Just thought I'd show you out of the pans what they look like. In the middle, I'm assuming you can add whatever veg you like. You don't have to follow the recipe, and it probably would look slightly neater using macaroni, but I think we do have to use it what we've got in. So this is supposed to do 6 portions. But I'm going to probably get a little bit more out of that. I think I'll get 6 out of each, but I'll eat 2 slices, if that makes sense. So I'll cut this half into 3 and have 2 pieces today. But yeah, I think they look nice. I'll come back and let you know how I'm serving it and then what I think to it. So here we are then, the pasta pie all served up. Healthy extra A allowance of cheese. I've served it with a big salad, and then I'm going to follow up with my Eton mess, which is 2.5 sins for the meringue, and everything else is sin free. And I'll have that with this Vimto no added sugar remix. So it's healthy extra A of cheese and 2.5 sins for my pudding. Good evening, it is now the next day and I am here to give you my verdict on my pasta pie and Eton mess. I really like the pasta pie. If you've got eggs and pasta and a bit of fromage frais, yoghurt or quark, I'm sure you could throw it together and throw in whatever you've got at the bottom of the fridge to make a pasta pie. And it was relatively straightforward as well. Add lots of seasonings if you can. If you like tasting things, it will take a lot of flavour. You can use different amounts of cheese. You can use a bit less or more. or count sins for it, or use it as your healthy extra A allowance, or you might be able to get away with not using any cheese at all. And of course you can make it vegetarian by using vegetarian cheese, and you could add some little bits of meat or something as long as it's cooked through. Yeah, so I think I'll make that again. The Eton mess, to be honest, probably more trouble than it's worth. As Andrew said, you could probably achieve more or less the same outcome by buying a strawberry yoghurt, adding some strawberries and some meringue. It was only because I had the leftover fromage frais, and to be honest, I enjoyed the fromage frais more on its own, the other bit that I'd flavoured. But yeah, it was nice as a change, and the meringues have been nice as little low-sin snacks. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you make it. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.